That's a hard question. It's a hard question. Looking at who I am now and what I know and things I'm interested in learning and things I read about, I find that I'm not a unique case. There are very many people my age who have more or less the same kind of interests in science and, in finding out truths about religion and challenging the belief systems that they have been born into, trying to discover who they are as individuals. And when we will be 80, 79 going 80, I think we're going to be some really tech-savvy seniors. So I think in 50 years' time, we're going to have a huge populace of seniors who are very much informed about technology.
Huwezi predict future bila kujua vile tuna pick up sahi. Ile kitu tunasema ina stick out. Tukaweza kuget a sense of nationhood, a sense of patriotism. I think that would work more. 50 years from now, kuna hope. Maybe your time, wasa watakuwa wamekuwa enhanced. Kituka tribalism haitakuwa sana. Ita break. Sidhani itakuwa. What I know is 50 years from now, kutakuwa na developments more. I mean, already so far, unaweza ifeel. Itakuwa place maisha itakuwa poa.
Years from now, she'll reach a point where languages might wither away, because at the present moment, in our homes, we tend to speak more English than even Swahili. So our native languages, for most of us, it will be gone. Because if by now, average 5-year-old in Kenya is not living in shags, does not speak fluent mother tongue, this kid, 20 years from now, his case is going to be that same case. Because if he wasn't socialized at home to speak his mother tongue, why should I embrace it? So that kid will be a father 40 years from now. I don't know my mother tongue. My kid does not know my mother tongue. So I believe 40 years from now, let me say, most kids in Kenya will not know the mother tongue. Our languages by then have been eroded, just a generation away. So losing your past is bad, but in a way it will be that thing which divided us, our languages, is no longer present. That will bring some sense of unity. Yeah.
Kenya at that time itakuwa like the rest of the world. Ile authenticity ilikuwa ya kitambo ati you go to a country, it's totally different to another country. Inaenda ikiisha. We are becoming one nation. One world nation. More of a universal culture. Yeah? Because culture, how it develops, or identities in a developing because you are closed, like either geographically or communication-wise, language barrier. All these barriers, zinaisha. We'll have certain other ways of identifying ourselves, but not as we do now. Itakuwa either in groupings, interests, like philosophies and all that stuff. We'll be part of that village, totally, like in everything, in every way. Yeah?
Tribes itakaa mziishe, tribalism itakaa miishe at some point.
50 years, it will be dead and buried. You know why it's so strong today? Because probably in the 70s and 80s, tribal intermarriages, they were very rare. But today, 50 years from now, watu watakuwa intermarry nini. So itakam it die. But of course kuna wale ma diehards, which is very unfortunate. Wale wanazaliwa sahi, still will be like 50 years old. Au ndio probably wakicarry on na hiyo idea ya tribalism. Juu ukiangalia hapa mtaani hakunanga tribalism. Okay, utaifeel kwa jobless ama nini. Juu jobless kuna wale wase waligrow na hiyo tribalism sahi. But 50 years from now, hawa wase watakuwa extinct. Unaget hiyo ideology itakuwa extinct. So tribalism naona ikidai, which is a very good thing. Yeah, it's a very good thing. It's a very positive. It's something I would like to see come to fruition. Yeah.
Politically, it's a bit hard to tell because, politicians, you can't understand them. Kenya being a democratic country, what I see coming is guys are likely to be more civilized, and also politically, guys are also getting clever. They know these politicians have been cheating us for a very long time. So the more people become clever, it's unlikely you're going to cheat them. I believe in future people will not be clinging to power, fighting for power, because guys placing you there, it will be for you to go and do a certain thing. If you don't do it, they expand you. Yeah, so things are going to change for good.
I think it'll be full of know-it-alls. Yeah. The best thing will be 50 years from now. You won't need to have come from, say, old money to change the way the world is. And that happens because there's a lot of influence surrounding you, more influence than, say, if you just grew up in one tiny place with no interaction. There's a lot more interaction right now from everywhere. It's now easier to get that information. So I think that'll just grow, become bigger. Or the world would have ended. I mean, could easily just... someone could invent something. Like, you've seen this kid who has invented a plastic gun. You can actually print out a gun. Years from now, things will just gone.
So how would spirituality change? I don't think there will be religion. I think it will have been disintegrated. It will fall away. What's happening right now is we are seeking that spiritual satisfaction because we are afraid or we are disappointed or whatever it is. The moment when people realize that they are so capable of doing a lot of the things that they're waiting for this super being to do for them, we'll be talking a very different way of looking at spirituality. Okay, so if you think about Conversations with God, the book Conversations with God, and how if it is real, and when you think about creation, even if you think about creation in the sense of the Bible, that we were created in God's likeness, which means that we are like God. We are like God. So why are we not God? We can be Jehovah Wanyonyi as well. We can go and be with ourselves. No, but if we're in the likeness, then that means we have the same capabilities that God does. So instead of looking up to him to do stuff for us, we will be able to do it ourselves. And you're already seeing it today with the people who have decided that they're not religious. So that's why I'm thinking spirituality will be more about realizing your strength and your power and actualizing it, as opposed to, again, coming from a place of love, as opposed to coming from a place of, oh my God, what am I going to do now? Oh God, please save me, So it's not about saving. It's about, how can I create? How can I be? Yeah. So I think spirituality will be like that.
I think the state of security in near future, it's going to be a complex one. Because right now what is happening, everybody is trying to prove something to everyone. Every time a country moves from one level to another in terms of development, security becomes a concern because not everybody is happy with what is happening. And through the emerging of some sophisticated technology which you can use to harass people, the government also have to think of a way of handling that. Otherwise, people tend to try very funny things or crazy things. Things are going to evolve in a different way, in a funny way.
Life as a country inadeterminiwa na politics, si cultures our say, which is very unfortunate because it benefits a few and disadvantages so many. It's a chronic thing, the way public resources are managed and run. There's a lot of misplaced priorities. Wasa wanaweka doko kwa mifuko. Social programs amwezi fund. It doesn't make any sense. Because at the end of the day, good governance will always bring about good living for people, for populations and all that. But the lack of it thereof brings bad life. I don't see a change in dynamics of politics. They're going to be dynasties. Okay, maybe not in 50 years, but in the medium term, like 10, 15 years. Whether for the good or for the bad, I don't know.
I can talk about the economy and the infrastructure and all that stuff, but at the core of it all, it's the people that are the most important. We have smarter kids because they have a lot of access to information. And when I look at how they react, how they behave, how they interact, it's very different from how we used to interact and even how we interact as adults today, which is a good thing in some sense because we are now breeding people who don't conform. They're not going to listen to this one person and take that as the gospel truth. They'll have somewhere else to look for that information, another source to look for that information, and be able to make a different opinion. And when I say different, it's different sometimes with a positive. Obviously, there'll be sometimes where it's just not really shifted that much. But I'm just hoping that 50 years from now, people will be better.
There's this Kenya that is so futuristic, but we have big gaps in rural areas, for example. And to me, this is the majority, because the majority is what a country will be defined as. The majority is the future that will exist. Because this minority, if they won't like what the country will be like, they can afford to move out of the country. So if Kenya is going to develop, cut the cake equally. Why should we have this 10 renowned technology experts in the country and then have these 2 million children malnourished who don't even have a clear future? It doesn't make sense. And it's very sad that those are the challenges I think we're facing. The balance has to be put. Have priorities for everything. And if we don't do this now, I don't see even how this will happen in the year 2066.
I'm optimistic about Kenya as I am about Africa in general. Because of a very young generation who believe more in themselves. And in a general sense, there's a lot of new thinking around. People are doing stuff on their own, trying out new stuff. People have a good mindset and inclined to having quality things happening around. I think the future of Kenya, we are going to have very busy urban centers, cities, and life will be very fast-paced. I really doubt it's going to be friendly to old people. On a political front, which I think is going to affect everything, I don't really know what the future of Kenya looks like. Yeah, we just have one option, is to go forward.